Good evening and welcome to a special edition of 22 News at 6. I'm Ciara Speller. Tonight we're reflecting on the somber anniversary of the September 11th terror attacks. Nearly 3,000 people died that day, including 500 first responders. Anchor Don Shipman joins us live from Riverfront Park in Springfield tonight, where the spirit of Springfield's 9/11 Remembrance ceremony is now getting underway.
Ciara, good evening. Never forget. That is the phrase we say often as we move throughout the past 20 years. It's been 20 years since the September 11th terrorist attacks. That's exactly what we're doing here tonight. We're never forgetting. We're honoring and remembering the nearly 3,000 lives lost. I want you to take a look right here. We're at Riverfront Park here in Springfield, where the 9/11 Remembrance ceremony, hosted by the Spirit of Springfield, is getting underway right now. Now, the crowd here is filled with city leaders, first responders, and members of the public. Tonight's ceremony will include video messages from former President George W. Bush and Congressman Richard Neal. And the centerpiece of tonight's ceremony is that 9/11 monument right there that bears the names of nearly 500 first responders that were killed on 9/11. Now, it was in June of 2019 that we were here in this same spot for that monument's dedication. And now, even though it's been 20 years, everyone remembers where they were on September 11th, 2001. 22 News anchor Rich Teddemer has a timeline of how that day unfolded.
20 years ago, it was a beautiful and typical Tuesday morning in September. But the shocking and tragic events that were about to happen would change the world as we knew it and remind us that there are heroes and villains among us. Al-Qaeda terrorists took control of 4 passenger planes and carried out coordinated suicide attacks. Between 7:59 and 8:20 in the morning, American Airlines Flight 11 with 92 people aboard and United Airlines Flight 175 with 65 people aboard both took off from Logan Airport in Boston, heading for Los Angeles. American Airlines Flight 77 took off from Dulles International Airport outside of Washington, D.C., headed for L.A. with 64 people aboard. And at 8:41, United Airlines Flight 93 with 44 people aboard took off from Newark International Airport en route to San Francisco. Just 5 minutes later, at 8:46, American Flight 11 crashed into the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 17 minutes later, on live TV, United 175 crashed into the South Tower. But it wasn't just Lower Manhattan that was under attack. At 9:37, American Flight 77 crashed into the western facade of the Pentagon in Washington, killing everyone on board and 125 military and civilian personnel inside the building. And at 10:07, the 4th plane, United 93, crashed in a field in Pennsylvania after passengers and crew attempted to take control from the hijackers. Within seconds of the first tower being hit, the NYPD and FDNY and Port Authority police responded without hesitation. They were just doing their job, trying to help in the towers and on the ground when the buildings came down. 498 first responders were among the nearly 3,000 people who lost their lives that day. I'm Rich Teddemer, 22 News.
We are continuing our coverage here of the 20-year anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks and the remembrance ceremony here happening at Riverfront Park in downtown Springfield. We've been talking to a number of people throughout the community today. We also talked to first responders at the Agawam Fire Department to get their reaction and how they're reflecting today. And here's 22 News reporter Mike Mascadrelli.
I remember it like it was yesterday. It was I was sitting in college and the TVs roared on and everybody was at HCC watching it on TV. It was a pretty intense day.
9/11 is a day many still remember very clearly. Even though it was a tragic day for America, it was also a day of heroism as firefighters and other first responders came to the rescue at Ground Zero.
It was a horrible day in our history. A lot of bad things happened, but the great part was watching all the firefighters, very brave going in and taking care of all the people that needed help.
Well, this is Agawam's 9/11 memorial. It's right outside their fire department. It, of course, portrays the Twin Towers that were attacked in New York City on September 11th, 2001. It's a day that really put the spotlight on our first responders.
How such a tragic event kind of brought the country together as a whole, really. And how first responders, not just from New York, but from other places, came to New York to help and do their job and jump in without knowing what was going on.
Firefighters sifted through rubble at Ground Zero looking for survivors, not knowing if they were in danger.
Part of the job absolutely is going into the unknown and figuring it out from there.
More than 400 firefighters and police officers in New York City lost their lives as a result of the 9/11 terrorist attacks. It was later determined that they were exposed to toxic chemicals at Ground Zero.
It was great to see how brave everybody was and how everybody helped each other. America came together that day, but not just America. The firefighters sacrificed the most, the police. I try to instill that in my daughter every day.
Working for you in Agawam, Mike Mascadrelli, 22 News.
The ceremony is just about ready to get underway here, but as we wait for it to start, we want to check out the forecast right now. And 22 News Storm Team meteorologist Brian Lapis. Good evening.
Good evening, Don, and here we are, a live look from downtown, looking down on the Remembrance ceremony at Riverfront Park. By the way, the ceremony, the public is invited to the ceremony, so you still have a few minutes to get to Riverfront Park. Let's take a look at that 22 News Storm Team temperature map. You can see here 71 in South Hadley and Agawam, 64 in Palmer, 69 Chesterfield, and 68 in Wendell. Clear air out there. There were a couple of isolated showers over Franklin County this afternoon. Those clouds are melting away right now. Clear, still a little breezy, but as the breeze backs off, we're going to cool off in a hurry. 71 right now, and then mostly clear air as we head into and through the evening hours. We'll show you a bright forecast for the weekend with the 22 News Storm Team 7-day forecast.
We're giving you another live look at the 9/11 monument in Springfield's Riverfront Park, where tonight we're remembering those killed in the terror attacks. Our coverage of tonight's remembrance ceremony continues next. You're watching 22 News at 6.